Hey, this is TBONE2004 and I've just returned from the Brawl battlefield to do a little something called Q&A. That's right, recently I've been getting a lot of questions concerning my Q&A after I had found out that I had gotten 100 subscribers, so I felt like I should celebrate with a Q&A. So, with that being said, let's start with the first question. This one coming from Shock44 and Old Bob565, so I figure I'll answer both your questions, which is as follows. What is your favorite Sonic game? Okay, this one, you might recognize this title, Sonic 3 and Knuckles. The reason being is because it's just too much fun. That was one of my first experiences with Sonic. I have an interesting story about Sonic 3. Back in 1994, I'm sure you remember this, there was a contest raffle for McDonald's, and one of the prizes was a cartridge of Sonic 3. Fortunately for me, I was one of the 100 first prize winners, so I received the cartridge, which I still have to this very day. And then I remember about 6 months later, Sonic and Knuckles was released, and I managed to pick that up. And when I found out you can combine both games to make it Sonic 3 and Knuckles, I just loved the whole 14 stages, 8 save states, and endless gameplay and replay. I'm telling you, that's one of my favorite Sonic games, right there and now. Okay, moving on. The next questions are, I believe it was either from Shock44 or Old Bob565, so I'm just going to go ahead and answer them right away. What is your favorite Mario game? Okay, this is an interesting question because I have two favorite Mario games, them being Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario World. Now, Super Mario 3, that was actually one of my first gaming experiences. My dad actually owned the game until I ended up becoming the collector, and I happened to get a cartridge of Mario 3. And I have to say, that is the most fun you'll ever have with a video game. If you happen to have a Wii and have a Wii Virtual Console, then get this game. Get Super Mario Bros. 3. Same goes with Super Mario World. That is, both Super Mario 3 and Super Mario World combined are excellent games. I mean, you want to talk about endless replay value, then these games are so much fun, and then you got yourself some winners right there. Don't need to explain much more. You should know that the greatness of Mario lies within those two games. Next question. Do you like the Sonic Archie series of comics? Well, I'll give it this. Back then, around issues 30 through 50, I do believe, they had some of the most interesting stories. Kind of carries on the Sonic Sat AM series to some extent. But I think it was after issue 54 or 55 or something that I just completely forgot about the series. And ultimately, I really started not liking the series because of the fact that the stories were just getting so repetitive. It almost seems like fan fiction at that. That, and I also hate Fiona Fox because she ended up breaking up the relationship of Sonic and Tails, which easily got repaired. But I still hate Fiona, no matter what. Some of the stories I really enjoyed, including the Sonic, Shadow, and Metal Sonic battle, which lasted four issues. And then I also enjoyed when Sonic dumped Sally. That was one of the best ones yet. But let's just go ahead and keep on rolling here. Who is your favorite Sonic character? Okay, I may have pointed this out in a few other rants and a few honest opinions here and there. That would go to Blaze the Cat because I enjoy her character. She's just determined on her mission. As you know, she's the protector of the Soul Emeralds in Sonic Rush and Sonic Rush Adventure, and she stays true to her roots. She's kind of like Knuckles in some extent. She shies away from everybody and tries to stay out of the spotlight. And as most of you know, Knuckles is exactly like that, only he's a little more angrier. Okay, we're moving on. Here's one from QWERTYBLUE64, one of my good friends here on YouTube. He asks me, why do you mention Valley Kyrie and Zeta RO2 as good Sonic hentai artists? Okay, I've been promising you that I would answer this question. I know a lot of you have been promised that I would answer this question, so here it goes. The reason that I say that Valley Kyrie and Zeta RO2 are good Sonic hentai artists is because they put emphasis on the characters. I mean, if you've seen their work, you'd swear that it looks like it comes directly from Sega. Not saying that Sega draws that stuff. They would never do that to one of their flagship characters. But if you saw their work, you'd swear they're from Sega. But other than that, Valley Kyrie makes the characters of age, considering the fact that Sonic Passion just ignores all that. And most of the other hentai artists just blow it all off and say, you know what, lolicon and pedophilia ain't bad. Actually, yes, it is. But Valley Kyrie makes all of her characters, in female form that is, 18 or older. And I say, hey, kudos to her. And Zeta RO2, well, if she could just lay off the hentai for a little while, she could actually make great Sonic character drawings. And I have to say, there could possibly be a career for you at Sega of Europe, seeing as how you're from Spain, Vanessa. Okay, moving away from that, here's another question from Ultimate Weapon 08. Who is your favorite ranter on YouTube? I think you might know this. Guardian Earth 128, because he attacks not just the 4Kids fans, but he also attacks Ryan Drummond fans as well. Seeing as how no one can really agree on an honest opinion, they have to just keep on fighting. He attacks both sides here and there. If you've heard his explicit Sonic rants, parts 1 through 6, you'll understand why I say that he's one of my favorite ranters. But Spax3, he's also a great ranter at that. But personally, I prefer Guardian Earth 128. Yeah, giving a little bit of Falco right there. Laugh! And Sparkwing24, you asked me, what is your favorite video game and your least favorite video game? Well, since you told me to not include Sonic, let me tell you right now, my all-time favorite game, believe it or not, is Mega Man 5. Why? Because it's such an amazing story. ScrewAttack.com says that Mega Man's 4 through 6 and beyond are just terrible stories, but I think Mega Man 5 is actually one of the best stories out there. You've got brother versus brother, and you've got one of the ultimate sets of Robot Masters. And not only that, but Gravity Man's level just totally rocks. We may never see a stage like that ever again. And of course, my least favorite game, well, okay, you might really get mad at me for this one. A lot of people have been saying this. I really don't like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the NES. The game is just extremely hard. I mean, I could get to like stage 3 and then just totally lose it from there on. But stage 2 really tears me up in that. And that's why I hate the game. I really hate the game. That's one of my least favorite games out there. But don't worry, I've also got a collection of other bad games out there. Combat Cars being one of them for the Sega Genesis. Okay, and I'm running out of time, so I may have to split this up into 2 parts. So let me just go ahead and finish up with one question from Foxy Rhino 1988. And don't worry, I will continue with part 2 of this, so bear with me. Foxy Rhino 1988 asks, which do you prefer, the comics or the cartoons? And if the cartoons, then which ones? Movies count too. Okay, this is an interesting question, but I have an easy answer for that. It would be the cartoon series, but everything before Sonic Underground and Sonic X. I prefer AOSTH and SatAM over both those combined. I mean, AOSTH is one of my first experiences with Sonic, and that's one of the, and I own the entire DVD series. Well, not yet. I'm waiting for Volume 2. And Sonic SatAM, that's also one of the most excellent Sonic shows out there. And as far as the Sonic movie is concerned, I actually enjoyed that. I'm trying to get my hands on it right now. I may have to order it off Amazon or eBay. So, in answer to your question, do I prefer the comics or the cartoons? I prefer the cartoons. Thank you very much. And don't worry, folks, I will continue this. So, if you'd like, keep sending me your questions, and I will continue to answer them. So, until next time, this is TBONE2004 signing out. And by the way, I'm on Brawl later on tonight, so get ready to brawl, folks. I'm waiting for you.
Balls.